The rain hammered the terracotta tiles of my dorm window like it had a grudge against the whole damn city of Granada. I was sprawled on my narrow bed, textbooks scattered like casualties of another all-nighter, when the door flew open without a knock. Reagan, soaked to the bone, her denim jacket clinging like a second skin, eyes wild and red-rimmed. "Riley, I can't do this anymore," she choked out, voice cracking like thunder. "I came all the way from Madrid because if I don't tell you now, it'll kill me." And just like that, the world I'd built to keep her at arm's length shattered, pulling me under in a flood of everything I'd buried for years. I froze, my heart slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape. Reagan, my Reagan, the one who'd been my anchor through every storm since we were kids back in Seattle, stood there dripping puddles onto the worn Persian rug my roommate had smuggled from her abuela's attic. She looked wrecked, not just from the downpour outside, but from something deeper, something that had been eating at her for months. I hadn't seen her in person since she jetted off to Madrid 6 months ago for that fancy architecture fellowship, chasing dreams I'd always envied but never had the guts to grab. Our texts had been sporadic, laced with emojis that hid the growing distance, but nothing prepared me for this. Her showing up unannounced at my study abroad dorm in Granada, 2 hours south by train, like a ghost from our Pacific Northwest past materializing in the heart of Andalusia. "Rye," she said, using that old nickname that always made my stomach twist in ways it shouldn't. "Can I come in? Please?" Her voice was small, stripped bare. Nothing like the confident Reagan who'd drag me to indie rock shows in dingy Seattle basements, or talk me through my parents' divorce over late-night diner fries. I nodded dumbly, swinging my legs off the bed and kicking a pile of laundry under it. Habit from living with too many roommates. She stepped inside, the door clicking shut behind her like a seal on a confession booth. The room smelled of her instantly. Rain-soaked leather and that faint vanilla from the candle she always burned back home. I grabbed a towel from the hook by the sink, tiny thing barely bigger than a washcloth, and thrust it at her. "What the hell, Reg? It's pouring cats and dogs out there. You could have called." My words came out sharper than I meant, laced with the fear I'd been nursing since her last vague message 2 weeks ago. "Things are messy. Miss you more than I should." I'd stared at that screen for hours, overanalyzing every syllable, convincing myself it was just Reagan being her dramatic self. But now, watching her blot at her face, smearing mascara and black rivulets down her cheeks, I knew it was worse. She sank onto the edge of my bed, the springs creaking under her weight, and buried her face in her hands. "I couldn't call. If I heard your voice, God, Riley, I would have chickened out." Her shoulders shook, and something in me cracked wide open. I dropped to my knees in front of her, like I was 23 going on 13, and pried the towel away, dabbing at her temples myself. Up close, she was even more beautiful in her ruin. Those high cheekbones I'd sketched in secret during boring lectures back in college, the faint scar above her eyebrow from that stupid skateboarding wipeout when we were 16. She was 28 now, 5 years my senior in age but a lifetime ahead in experience, and it hit me how much I'd romanticized her from afar. The girl who'd taught me to parallel park in her beat-up Honda, who'd held my hand through my first heartbreak with a boy who didn't deserve the tears. "Talk to me," I whispered, my thumb brushing a wet strand from her forehead. Her skin was fever-hot. Or maybe that was just the proximity making my pulse thunder. We'd always been tactile hugs that lingered a beat too long, knees bumping under cafe tables, but since she'd left for Spain, I'd chalked up the ache in my chest to missing my best friend. "Liar," my brain hissed. "You know it's more. You've known since that night in your dorm freshman year, when she crashed after a party and woke up with her arms slung over you like it belonged there." Reagan lifted her head, those blue eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that pinned me in place. "It's Elena," she said finally, the name dropping like a stone into still water. Elena, her girlfriend of 2 years, the sleek Madrid gallery curator who'd swept Reagan off her feet with tapas dates and whispered promises in flawless Castilian. I'd met her once over video call, all sharp bob haircut and designer scarves, the kind of woman who made you feel underdressed in your own life. We broke up. Or, I broke us. Last night she found out about. Reagan's voice hitched and she looked away, toward the window where rain lashed the glass in silver sheets. The Alhambra's silhouette loomed faint in the distance, a fairy tale castle mocking our very real mess. "About what?" I pressed, though dread coiled in my gut. I'd seen the photos on her Instagram. Reagan and Elena at flamenco shows, arms intertwined under starlit skies. They'd looked perfect, the kind of couple that made you believe in forever. But Reagan had been pulling away. Her messages to me laced with a desperation that clawed at my resolve to stay platonic. "About you," she admitted, so soft I almost missed it over the storm. She went through my phone, old habit, she said, and saw the texts. The ones from last summer when I was back home visiting. The ones where I told you I loved you. Her laugh was bitter, hollow. Not friend love, Rye. The real kind. The kind that kept me up nights wondering why I was building a life with someone else when all I could think about was your laugh. Your stupid freckles. The way you bite your lip when you're nervous. The room tilted. I rocked back on my heels, the towel slipping from my fingers to pool on the floor. Loved. Past tense? Or? My mind raced through memories. The way she'd look at me during movie marathons, her head on my shoulder, breath warm against my neck. The jealousy I'd swallowed when she announced Elena, telling myself it was protectiveness, not possession. Reg, you were with Elena. You chose her. I know. She surged forward, grabbing my hands, her grip bruising with desperation. That's the betrayal, isn't it? I lied to her. To myself. To you by pretending it was nothing. But it's everything, Riley. You're everything. Rain drummed harder, a frantic underscore to her words, and for a heartbeat, I let myself imagine it. Us tangled in this tiny room, the world outside fading to irrelevance. But reality crashed in. My visa expiring in 3 months, her fellowship tying her to Madrid, the ocean between us and home. And Elena shattered somewhere because of me. I pulled away gently, standing to pace the 3 feet of floor space that passed for my living room. Posters of Van Gogh's Starry Nights peeled at the edges, ironic, given the storm of emotions swirling now. Why now? Why come here, drag this up when I'm finally settling into this life? Classes, friends, the whole expat dream. My voice cracked, betraying the lie. Granada had been my escape. A semester abroad to outrun the what-ifs about Reagan that haunted my Seattle apartment. Because I can't breathe without you, she said simply, rising to meet me. We were inches apart now, the air charged like the sky outside. Her hand cupped my cheek, thumb tracing my jaw, and I didn't flinch. Couldn't. I took the train this morning, lied to my advisor about a family emergency. I had to see you, Rye. Had to know if you felt it too, the pull, the thing that's always been there waiting. I closed my eyes, inhaling her scent, letting the confession sink in. It was terror and exhilaration. A high-wire act over a chasm I'd skirted for years. I do, I breathed, the words escaping like a dam breaking. God, Reg, I always have. But what about the mess? Elena's going to hate us. And after I go back, what then? She pulled me into a hug, fierce and unyielding, her chin resting on my head. We'll figure it out. One storm at a time. Outside, lightning forked the sky, illuminating the ancient city in stark white. And for the first time in months I believed her. But as we held on, whispering promises into the dark, I couldn't shake the whisper in my head. Some storms don't end with the rain. The next morning dawned hazy, the rain reduced to a drizzle that turned Granada's narrow streets into mirrors of ochre and blue. I woke with Reagan's arm draped over me, our bodies spooned on the too small bed, her breath steady against my neck. It felt right. Dangerously, heartbreakingly right, like slipping into a favorite sweater after years in storage. But guilt gnawed at the edges, sharp as the espresso my roommate Sophia brewed in our shared kitchenette. Elena. I'd never met her, but her ghost hovered, accusing. We'd talked half the night, words tumbling out like confessions at a 12-step meeting. Reagan spilled it all. How Elena's intensity had dazzled her at first, the whirlwind romance that masked her doubts. She wanted to fix me, Reagan said, tracing patterns on my arm with her fingertip, like I was some blueprint she could redraw. But you see the cracks and love them anyway. I'd blushed, heat flooding my cheeks, and kissed her then, soft, tentative, our lips brushing like a question. Her answer was a sigh, pulling me closer, and for those stolen hours the world narrowed to us. Now sunlight slanted through the shutters, gilding her sleeping face. She was 28 going on timeless, lashes fanned against freckled skin, mouth curved in a half-smile as if dreaming of safer places. I slipped out carefully, padding to the window to watch students bustle below, backpacks slung, coffee cups steaming, envying their uncomplicated mornings. My phone buzzed on the sill. A text from Mom back in Seattle. How's Spain? Made any amigos? I typed back a heart emoji, omitting the part about the woman who'd upended my heart overnight. Reagan stirred, murmuring my name, and I turned, caught in her sleepy gaze. Morning, she said, voice husky, stretching like a cat in sunlight. God, she was beautiful, tousled hair, shirt rumpled from our tangle. What time is it? Almost 9. You hungry? Sophia left churros. I nodded to the paper bag on the counter, a peace offering from my perpetually baking roommate. She grinned, that lopsided Reagan smile that always melted my defenses. Starving. For everything. The innuendo hung light, playful, but her eyes held depths: regret, hope, fear. We ate cross-legged on the floor, knees touching, passing the bag back and forth, chocolate dipping into thick coffee. It was domestic, easy, the kind of morning I'd fantasized about in journals I burned before leaving for Spain. But as she licked sugar from her thumb, I saw the shadows under her eyes, the weight of what she'd left behind. You okay? I asked, setting my mug down. About her. Reagan's smile faded, replaced by a sigh that seemed to carry the Sierra Nevadas weight. No. But yes. Elena deserves better than half of me. And I deserve to chase this. She gestured between us, vague and encompassing. Us. Whatever it is. It's everything. I echoed her words from last night, but doubt crept in. My program ended in May. Hers stretched through summer. Transatlantic flights weren't cheap, and neither were long-distance hearts. But Reg, what if it's just the drama talking? The breakup high, the rain, the romance of it all. She reached for my hand, lacing our fingers. Then we crash and burn. But I'd rather burn with you than freeze alone. Her thumb stroked my knuckle, sending sparks up my arm. We leaned in, foreheads touching, breaths mingling in the quiet. It was a pact, unspoken, try despite the odds. The day unfolded like a dream deferred. We wandered Granada's Albayacin neighborhood, hand in hand when no one watched, stealing glances that lingered too long. The air hummed with guitar strings from hidden patios, the scent of jasmine climbing whitewashed walls. Reagan pointed out Moorish arches she'd studied, her architects eye tracing history in stone, while I snapped photos, not of the landmarks but of her. Laughing at a street cat silhouetted against the pomegranate trees in the General Life Gardens. Stop, she'd protest, swatting my phone away, but her cheeks pinked, pleased. By afternoon we climbed to the Mirador de San Nicolas, the ultimate vantage, the Alhambra glowing red gold across the ravine, a postcard of Spain's soul. Tourists milled, but we found a bench tucked in olive shade. Her head on my shoulder as the sun dipped. Remember that trip to the Olympics? She murmured. Seattle 24. Us sneaking into the athlete village with fake badges. I chuckled, the memory warm. You and that ridiculous Team USA hat. We got caught, but the security guard let us go because you flirted shamelessly. With you, she corrected softly. Always with you. The admission hung heavy with hindsight. We'd been kids then, 19 and 24, orbiting each other in denial. Now at 23 and 28, the orbit had collided. As dusk painted the sky violet, her phone buzzed, insistent, ugly. She glanced at it, face paling. It's her. Elena. The name conjured a specter, elegant and wounded. Reagan silenced it, but the spell broke. We descended in silence, the city's pulse mocking our fragility. Back at the dorm, Sophia was out, bless her late flamenco class, and we cooked paella from a kit, burning the rice but laughing through it. Laughter turned to stories. Her fellowship woes, my lit class debates on Lorca's queer subtext. Ironic now. By nightfall we were tangled again. Kisses deepening but boundaries firm. No rush, just exploration. Hands mapping familiar terrain with new intent. But sleep evaded me. In the dark, Reagan's breathing evened but mine raced. What if this was borrowed time? What if Elena fought back, or worse, what if we did? The rain had stopped, but the storm inside raged on. 2 weeks blurred into a fever of stolen moments. Granada our secret canvas. Reagan extended her stay, vague emails to her Madrid bosses about inspiration in the South, and we painted our world in broad, reckless strokes. Mornings in the dorm kitchen, her teaching me to roll perfect tortilla española, our hips bumping in the cramped space. Afternoons lost in the labyrinth of the Albayacin, ducking into Tabernas for glasses of Tinto de Verano, her foot hooked around my ankle under the table. Nights on the rooftop terrace, shared with a dozen other students, where we'd lean against the railing, shoulders touching, watching fireworks burst over the Alhambra like celebrations of our fragile joy. It was romantic, yes, Spain's sun-drenched drama amplifying every glance, every brush of fingers. But beneath the poetry lurked the drama. Elena's texts, escalating from pleas to accusations. Who is she? The American girl from your stories? Reagan showed me one night, screen glowing accusatory in the dim. You're throwing us away for a ghost. I wanted to hate her, this woman who'd held Reagan's heart before I could claim it, but all I felt was pity, and a gnawing guilt that I was the villain in her tale. You're not, Reagan insisted, tossing the phone aside. We were on my bed, her back against the headboard, me curled into her side like a comma in her sentence. Elena's pride talking. She knew deep down. I was never all in. Her fingers combed through my hair, rhythmic, soothing. This us, it's real. Messy but real. I tilted my head, studying her profile. The strong line of her nose inherited from her Irish mom, the way her lips pursed in thought. At 28 she carried the weight of choices, jobs turned down, cities conquered, while I at 23 still fumbled with mine. What if it's not enough? I voiced the fear aloud, the one that woke me at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling cracks like fault lines. After I leave back to Seattle, you in Madrid, the distance. She shifted, turning to face me fully, blue eyes fierce. Then we fight it. Weekends in Paris, calls at dawn. I've got miles from work and you, hell rye, you're worth every layover. Her kiss was conviction, slow and deep, erasing doubts for the span of a heartbeat. We didn't push further, agreed early on to let it build, no fireworks without foundation, but the heat simmered, a promise banked for cooler heads. The conflict crested mid-month, on a Tuesday that started idyllic. We'd hike to the Sacramento Caves, gypsy quarter carved into hillsides, where flamenco echoed from whitewashed doorways. Reagan bought me a bracelet from a vendor, copper links etched with stars, slipping it on with a grin. For my wandering poet. I blushed, tracing the metal, feeling seen in a way that terrified me. But as we descended, her phone rang, Elena's number, relentless. Reagan answered this time, stepping aside with a mouthed sorry. I pretended to study a mosaic fountain, but words carried on the breeze. No, Elena, it's not a phase. I love her. Yes, Riley. The one you always joked about. Silence stretched, then her voice broke. That's not fair. You pushed me away first, with your schedules, your ex is still orbiting. More silence, Elena's tirade a muffled storm. When Reagan hung up, her face was ashen, hands trembling. She came to my flat, she said, sinking onto a stone bench. Broke a vase, the one from her abuela. Said I'm a coward. Running to you because you're safe. Easy. The words landed like barbs and I knelt before her, gripping her knees. Am I asked, voice small. Safe? Or just convenient? Her eyes snapped to mine, wounded. God no. You're the risk, Rye. The one thing I've ever wanted that scares the shit out of me. She pulled me up, into her lap awkwardly on the bench, burying her face in my neck. Elena's hurt, lashing out. But she's wrong. You're my home. We sat there until shadows lengthened, her story unfolding in fragments. Elena's jealousy seeded early when Reagan mentioned me in bedtime tales. The fights over the girl from Seattle who knew her better than anyone. Betrayal cut both ways. Elena's possessiveness a cage. Reagan's silence a key she'd withheld too long. I should have ended it sooner, she admitted. Before Spain, before it got this ugly. But then we wouldn't be here, I countered, kissing her temple. Optimism fragile as spun sugar. That night, back in the dorm, Sophia cornered me in the hall. Her dark eyes sharp, mama bear mode engaged. That woman, Riley? The one with the sad eyes? She's trouble, mi amor. Hearts break easy in Granada. Or mend, I shot back defensive. Sophia hugged me anyway, whispering be careful in lilting Spanish. Wise woman, my roommate. Half Andalusian fire. Half American pragmatist from her dad's side. Trouble brewed faster than I feared. Days later, a package arrived, addressed to Reagan, forwarded from Madrid. Elena's handwriting. Elegant loops on the label. Inside. Reagan's favorite scarf, The silk one from their first anniversary, folded with a note. Keep your ghosts. I'm done haunting. No vitriol, just finality. Reagan read it twice, then crumpled it, tears silent tracks down her face. It's over, she whispered, clutching the scarf like a lifeline lost. I held her as sobs racked her frame, the raw grief of endings I'd only glimpsed in books. Love wasn't just joy, it was this evisceration, the hollow after. I betrayed her, Rye. By wanting you. We all betray someone, I said softly, stroking her back. Even ourselves. It was human, messy, the drama of hearts in collision. That night, we didn't sleep much. Talked until dawn about forgiveness, futures, the lies we'd told to survive. By sunrise, resolve hardened. We'd face it together, no more hiding. But betrayal's shadow lingered, poisoning the sweet. Whispers started, Sophia's friends, mutual expat circles, tales of the American drama, rippling through Granada's tight-knit scene. Elena had connections. A gallery opening invite arrived for me, anonymous, with a postscript. See for yourself. Curiosity or masochism drove me there, Reagan unaware. The event was in a sleek Albaycin gallery, air thick with wine and pretense. Elena stood central, poised in black, greeting patrons with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I lingered at the edges, nursing sangria, until she approached, graceful predator. Mid-30s, sharp as a switchblade, her bob gleaming under lights. Riley, she said, voice velvet over steel. The ghost made flesh. I swallowed, chin up. Elena. I'm sorry. She laughed, low and mirthless. Don't. Pity's for the weak. Her gaze raked me, assessing. She loves you, you know. Truly. But love like that? It destroys. She handed me a glass, clinking hers against it. To new beginnings. And old wounds. I fled soon after, heart pounding, her words a curse. Back at the dorm, Reagan waited, sensing my turmoil. What happened? She demanded, pulling me close. I confessed, the visit, the encounter. Her face crumpled, then hardened. You went to her? After everything. Not to hurt, I pleaded. To understand. Understanding doesn't fix betrayal, she snapped, pacing. The fight erupted swift, words as weapons. My insecurity, her unresolved grief. You think I can just erase her? Reagan yelled. She was my life. And now? I shot back, tears hot. Am I the rebound? The safe harbor? Silence fell, brutal. She stopped, deflating. No. You're the storm I want. But doubt seeded, our paradise fracturing. The high came crashing mid-hike a week later. We'd escaped to the Sierra Nevada foothills, seeking solace in pine-scented trails. Laughter echoed as we raced a stream, splashing like kids, but uphill fatigue hit. Reagan faltered, clutching her side. Old skate injury flaring. I steadied her, arm around her waist, and in that vulnerability truth spilled. I almost didn't come, she admitted, leaning on me. Feared you'd say no. That I'd ruined us by waiting too long. Never, I vowed, kissing her knuckles. The view opened, endless mountains, a testament to endurance. We picnicked there, sandwiches and stories rebuilding brick by brick. Yet drama simmered. A call from Seattle, my mom ill urging return. Reagan's fellowship extended, Madrid calling. Distance loomed, but so did love's pull. We'll bridge it, she promised as stars pricked the twilight. Autumn crept into Granada like a reluctant guest. Leaves turning gold on the plane trees lining Paseo de los Tristes, the air sharpening with the promise of winter. Our idyll held, but cracks widened. Small fissures at first, like the argument over Elena's gallery that left us tiptoeing around silences. Reagan threw herself into sketches, her notebook filling with Alhambra-inspired designs, while I buried in essays on Spanish Golden Age lit, Lorca's Duende haunting my margins. We were orbiting again, close but cautious, afraid one wrong move would spin us apart. The real fracture came on All Saints' Day, when the city draped in black crepe and marigolds. We'd planned a quiet evening, tapas at our favorite spot near the cathedral, then stargazing from the terrace. But Reagan's phone lit up mid-meal. Her mother voiced tinny through the speaker. Sweetie, Elena called. She's not well. Talking about leaving Madrid. Starting over in Barcelona. Said you broke her. The fork slipped from my hand, clattering against the plate. Reagan's face drained of color, the paella forgotten. Mom, I can't. Listen to me, her mom pressed, ever the mediator from their cozy Bellevue home. That girl's family is old money Reg connected. If she spins this as abandonment. The implication hung. Scandal, lost opportunities, the architecture world's whisper network turning vicious. Reagan ended the call abruptly, staring at her wineglass like it held answers. This is insane, she muttered. Elena's weaponizing her pain. To what? Punish me. I reached across the scarred wooden table, covering her hand. The bar hummed around us, locals in wool coats, laughter punctuating guitar strums, but we were isolated adrift. It's not about you anymore. It's her hurt talking. But what if she's right? Did we break her? Reagan yanked away, eyes flashing. We? You mean I did? By choosing you. The words sliced, unintended shrapnel. She stood, tossing euros on the table. I need air. She stormed out, into the chill night scented with incense from nearby vigils. I followed, heart hammering the cobblestones slick underfoot. Reg, wait. The chase ended in a shadowed alley off the Plaza Nueva, her back against graffiti-tagged wall, breaths ragged. Why'd you come? She demanded, not turning. To fix me? Like Elena tried. No, I said, closing the distance. To love you. Flaws and all. I spun her gently, cupping her face, cold cheeks, tears carving paths. We're human, Reg. We hurt people. But running. That makes it worse. She sagged against me, sobs muffled in my coat. I'm scared. Of losing you. Of this blowing up everything. We stood there, locked in mutual fragility, the city's bells tolling midnight like a judgment. The betrayal deepened the next day. Sophia, ever the networker, pulled me aside post-class. Carino, you're Reagan? Her ex is in town. Spotted at the faculty mixer last night. Stirring pots. My stomach dropped. Elena here? To confront or conquer? I confronted Reagan that evening, her sketching by the window, Alhambra twilight bathing her in rose. Did you know she was coming? She set down her pencil, guilt etching lines around her mouth. A heads-up text. Thought it'd pass. Didn't want to worry you. Worry me. I echoed, pacing. This is sabotage, Reg. She's undermining us before we even start. It's not. She stood, hands out. Elena's lost, Riley. Grieving. I owe her closure. Closure. Laughter bubbled, hysterical. You flew to me for that. Now you owe her. Hurt flickered in her eyes. Empathy isn't betrayal. It's who I am. And I'm the jealous kid who can't handle it. I snapped, grabbing my jacket. Fine. Go play savior. I'll be at the library. The door slammed behind me, echoing my exit from sanity. Granada's libraries were sanctuaries. Cool stone halls in the old university, shelves groaning with leather-bound tomes. I lost hours in Garcia Lorca's poetry, his lines on impossible loves mirroring my turmoil. I want to forget you, but I can't. By closing, resolve firmed, fight, not flight. But outside, Reagan waited, bundled in that damned scarf, Elena's parting gift, now a talisman? I canceled, she said, voice raw. Told her we're done, no coffee, no amends. Just goodbye. She held out her phone, the text thread damning. Elena's pleas, Reagan's firm no. You're my priority, Rye. Always. Relief warred with exhaustion. We walked back hand in hand, the night air crisp, stars winking approval. But the seed of doubt sprouted. Could we weather more? Winter solstice brought the climax. A storm fiercer than the first. Reagan's fellowship demanded return to Madrid. A major project deadline non-negotiable. 2 weeks, she promised, packing her duffel in our room. Then I'm back. For Christmas for you. I nodded, forcing smiles, but panic clawed. Absence as accelerant to fear. She left at dawn, kiss lingering like a bruise. Days blurred. Classes droned, Sophia's worried glances, my journal filling with pleas to the universe. Then the bomb. A mutual friend from Seattle drunk texting. Heard from Reg? She's with Elena again. Spotted at a gala. Thought you knew. My world imploded. I called voicemail after voicemail. Is it true? Did you lie? No answer. Flight to Madrid booked on credit. Desperation's currency. The high-speed train blurred Spain's heartland. My reflection hollow-eyed in the window. Madrid greeted with frenzy. Grand Boulevard's Christmas lights twinkling mocking cheer. Reagan's flat was in Salamanca, sleek and modern, worlds from my dorm's charm. I buzzed, heart in throat. She answered, disheveled, eyes widening. Rye? What? I pushed past, scanning wine glasses on the counter too. Tell me it's not true. She closed the door, face crumpling. It's not what. Elena showed up. Uninvited. We talked. That's all. Talked. I laughed bitterly, gesturing. Glasses say otherwise. You said goodbye. Closure. But here we are, round two. Jealousy looks ugly on you. She shot back, defensive. Then softer. I didn't invite her. She came to apologize. For the threats, the drama. We drank to moving on. With her scarf around your neck? I yanked it from the couch, hurling it. You're playing both sides, Reg betraying me like you did her. The slap of truth stunned us. Tears welled in her eyes. I love you, Riley. But trust? That's earned. And right now you're shattering it. Words escalated. My abandonment fears, her exhaustion with eggshells. Maybe we rushed, she whispered finally. Built a castle on sand. The door opened then, Elena, key in hand? No delivery, but the timing cruel. She breezed in, freezing at the scene. Ah, the menage. Sarcasm dripped, but her eyes wounded, weary. Get out, Reagan snarled, the first fire I'd seen. Elena complied, head high, but not before a parting shot. Choose wisely, amor. Ghosts fade. Alone, Reagan and I collapsed, sobs, embraces, the ugly beauty of unraveling. I choose you, she vowed, holding me tight. Every time. But the gala rumor? A setup, Elena's ploy. Exposed by a mutual's clarification. Paranoia. Born of love's intensity. We spent the night rebuilding. Honesty spilled, boundaries redrawn. No more Elena contact. No secrets. Dawn found us spent but bonded, dramas forged tempering steel. Back in Granada, reconciliation bloomed. Christmas markets, mulled wine, her sketches now featuring us. Intertwined silhouettes against snowy Sierras. But maturity dawned. Love wasn't fairy tale but work. Human, flawed, profound. Spring tiptoed into Granada with almond blossoms carpeting the Darro River. A fragile truce after winter's tempests. Reagan and I emerged scarred but stronger. Our bond a tapestry rewoven with deliberate threads. She split time between Madrid and the south, Avenue trains her chariot, while I prepped for graduation, my Seattle return looming like a guillotine. We'd mapped it out over countless calls. Her visiting summers, me job hunting in Europe post-degree. Optimism hard-won but real. Yet echoes lingered. Elena vanished from our orbit, rumors of Barcelona. A new exhibit on fractured identities. Poetic justice or karma's nod. Reagan grieved quietly, journaling letters she'd never send, processing the betrayal's layers. Her own complicity, the pain inflicted. Love teaches mercy, she said one evening, as we picnicked in the general life, petals drifting like confetti. Even for the villains we create. I nodded, feeding her a strawberry juice staining her lips. At 23, I was learning too, jealousy's poison, trust's fragility. Our intimacy deepened, not in passion's rush but emotional cartography. Late talks on fears, dreams voiced aloud. Kisses in hidden sacristies, hands clasped during Semana Santa processions. The city's solemn floats mirroring our solemn vows. The true test came in April, my visa's endgame. Mom's health stabilized but Seattle pulled. Job offers in publishing, old friends circling. Reagan's fellowship wrapped with acclaim. A Barcelona firm scouting her. Crossroads. Cling or launch. We retreated to the Costa Tropical. A weekend idle in Nerja's white villages. Cliffside rental, sea crashing below. Olive groves whispering secrets. There, under Balcón de Europa's gaze, we laid bare. I don't want to lose this, I confessed, toes in sand, her head in my lap. Waves lapped rhythmic, sun-dipping orange. Then don't, she murmured, fingers tracing my bracelet, her gift now talisman. Come to Barcelona. Defer Seattle. Build with me. Temptation Ward. Adventure's siren song versus roots gravity. And if it fails? We're young, Reg. What if? Life's a draft, she interrupted, sitting up, eyes fierce. We revise. Together. Her kiss sealed it, salt-tanged, sunset gilded. Not blind leap but faith step. Back in Granada, decisions cascaded. I deferred, emailing professors with pleas of life's poetry. Reagan signed Barcelona papers, our future a shared blueprint. But drama's last gasp. A letter from Elena forwarded. Forgive you. Both. Pain carves space for grace. Be happy. Tears came, relief, absolution. Betrayal's cycle broken. Humanity affirmed. May bloom triumphant. My program ended with a rooftop party. Sophia's farewell feast. Lanterns swaying, guitars strumming. Reagan and I danced, bodies close, the Alhambra Sentinel. To us, she toasted, glasses clinking. To storms survived, I replied. Packing the dorm felt bittersweet. Posters rolled, books boxed, memories etched. Sophia hugged fierce. You found your duende, Riley. Don't lose it. We didn't. Barcelona embraced us. Her firm a creative hub. My freelance editing blooming amid gaudy-esque whimsy. Summers in Seattle, winters in Spain. Transatlantic tapestry woven tight. Years on, at 28 and 33, we stand on our balcony overlooking the Gothic Quarter, coffee steaming. She's published a book, Andalusian Arches Reimagined, dedicated to Riley, my foundation. I'm editing queer-lit anthologies, her biggest fan. Love, we learned, isn't absence of conflict but presence through it. Betrayals heal, not with erasers but scars worn proud. Human, profoundly so, two women, American hearts in Europe's embrace, writing our ending. Not tragic but tenderly true. And in quiet moments I remember that rainy night, the door flying open, her confession shattering safeties. Changed everything? Understatement. Built a life.